Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Tracy, and welcome back to my channel. Today, totally different, something off the cuff, because that's what I do here, what I feel like. And today is very different, very different. So what I'm going to talk about today is my mental health, where I've been, what I've been doing, and why I kind of have to take some time here and there for myself. And yeah, we're going to get into that. So we're going to do that while I crochet, because crocheting has become a calming thing for me to do. It's something that gives me a little bit of peace when I am having issues, like when I'm struggling. If I'm talking about a difficult subject, it's something that, I don't know, it just helps to keep me centered, I guess. I don't really know what else to call it, but it helps. So I'm going to be doing that while we chit chat. I will show you all what it is I'm crocheting. You'll see. It is actually it's like a wrap. It's going to be a little hooded wrap for a friend of mine's daughter. If you can kind of get the visual from it. Here's the center right here. It'll go around like that, and they'll have a little hood on it, and it'll be like a wrap that she can wrap around herself. So yeah, that is what I'm working on while I talk today. Hopefully you all enjoy it. It's something different. I don't think I've ever crocheted on a video yet, but like I said, it keeps me centered and kind of helps me when I'm talking about topics that are a little sensitive or, difficult for me. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So anyway, where have I been? I have been taking care of myself. I know everyone seems to have been enjoying hearing my story. I mean, enjoying is probably not the best word for it, but enjoying hearing more about my life. And it feels really good to know that so many people support me, because I have had a lot of support from everybody. And that's been seriously like a blessing. I was worried about what would happen while I was sharing my story. I was afraid that it was going to get some not so nice feedback. But fortunately, it's really been positive and so much support that I can't even. I I'm the I am so grateful. I can't. There's no words. There's honestly no words to describe how grateful I feel for all the support I have gotten while sharing my story the way I have. That's something else you're going to see is the next part of my story. It just took me a little while, because I did talk about a lot of really difficult times in my life, and it started to affect me a little bit. It was hard to go back and kind of relive all of that stuff. All these years later, it it took its toll for sure. While I was doing that, I see a therapist. I do a lot of that stuff. I do via telemed. So it's been really nice to be able to reach out to them when I'm, struggling and having a difficult time with something. It's been truly been a blessing to have my therapist at arm's length, honestly. And I say arm's length, like that's usually used to say you're keeping somebody at arm's length, but no, she's been a blessing. And my psychiatrist and we've been working together on figuring out some of the things that I've recently started to notice in myself, things I was doing, and it was hard to finally acknowledge that there were certain things that I was doing that weren't exactly normal, that I didn't realize weren't normal. So I'd noticed that I had started staying up a lot. Prior to, so I've noticed these things over years. My daughters noticed them for a long time. I don't know that I can say I didn't notice them, but I didn't think it was an issue. I thought it was just me. But no, apparently it is an issue. You shouldn't be going 2 days with no sleep, just doing spontaneous things in ways that normal people don't do, I guess I'd say. There was just a lot that I was doing that wasn't typical. We'll say typical. And it started to affect me. And after I had started sharing my story, I had started to notice that it was more frequent, that I'd be going 2 days with no sleep. And during the nights, I'd be doing the most random things. The one night I was doing my hair. I was doing these treatments on my hair at like 2 in the morning. I was putting all these conditioning treatments in my hair, making sure, getting it all nice and healthy. And then I went from doing that, while that was on my hair, I went and got my cat and was de-shedding her and giving her medicine and feeding her like a baby. And then I was going and doing 10 other things. So it was not just I was awake getting stuff done. It was a manic episode. And I don't know how many of you have had any experience with this or not, but my daughter is bipolar, and I've now been diagnosed as bipolar 2, which, you have bouts of depression and bouts of mania. And that's where I've been dealing with this and struggling with it. Like I said, my daughter has noticed it for years, that I would have these, episodes where for a week straight I'd be just go, 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 go. And then I would be out for the count for another 2 weeks where I could barely get out of bed. So right now I am figuring all of that out and getting that treated and, working with it instead of against it, I guess. Just trying to figure it out basically and learning as much as I can about it, what my options are, how I can, better help myself when I'm in one of these, periods of depression or, mania. And it's difficult. It was a hard diagnosis to get. As some of you already know, I've been diagnosed as I have severe panic and anxiety disorder. Well, panic attacks and anxiety disorder, anxiety attacks. There's so many people that'll use anxiety attacks and panic attacks interchangeably, but that's not really how they work. As somebody who has them, a panic attack is very different than an anxiety, episode. When I have a panic attack, I will believe that I am dying, that there's absolutely nothing that can stop it. Nobody can save me. I can't save myself. And I'll have these fears, completely irrational fears of that I'm having a heart attack or that I'm in the middle of having a stroke. And I'll also feel symptoms of these things while this is happening, like severe head pain or chest pain. And it's almost like my body is creating these symptoms of this, whatever it is I'm thinking that I'm dying of. And it's terrifying. But it is a horrifying feeling to feel like you're dying and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Many years ago, as you guys have heard it in my story, those of you that have heard my story, um, there was a point in time in the relationship with my abuser that I was very affected by these. I thought I was being poisoned. I thought, I can't even tell you all the things I thought. But at one point, I even hid in a closet for a week straight. I stayed in that closet. My grandmother stayed at the house. She brought me food and would put it in the closet. I couldn't come out. I thought if I came out of that closet, I was going to die. And they're terrifying. They're absolutely terrifying. When I have an anxiety attack, it's this overwhelming sense of just anxiety, like there's something's going to happen. It's not that I'm going to die or this sudden fear of death. It's like there's still irrational fears, but it's more of like you're just overwhelmingly anxious about something. And a lot of times I don't even know what it is. It's just this anxiety that overwhelms you. And it's like you feel like every nerve in your body is like shaking. It's a strange feeling. It's really hard to describe. If you can't tell, it's really hard to describe that feeling. But I've dealt with those for many years, and I have been diagnosed with PTSD and generalized anxiety disorder. So it's not a fun combination. There'll be times where I really struggle to get out of my bed. And like I said, there'll be times where I'll just go for a week straight and not sleep, barely eat, and it's scary. It's scary. And when you're in that, you don't really realize you're doing it. And a few weeks back, I recognized it. And that's when I reached out to my mental health provider and told them that I'm recognizing certain things that I'm doing that aren't typical. And, my husband's making comments about me not sleeping, or if I would fall asleep on the couch randomly because I hadn't slept, concern of, well, why don't you ever want to come to bed? Or is there a problem? Like, what's going on? So we're in the works of getting that all figured out. So in the meantime, there may be times where I'll be doing really well and be on here and, putting out content for you all pretty easily and not be struggling, because there are times where I'm just fine. And then there are times where I'm not. And the past couple weeks have been some of those times. So, I'm doing my best to get back on track and get myself in the best possible health that I can. And, you know, uh, it's hard to say what's going to happen when, you never know. But I know in my heart and soul that continuing YouTube is something that I want to do no matter what state of mind I'm in. If I'm having a manic episode or a depressive episode, that still weighs on me. And I struggle when I'm in these different, what do I even call them, um, when I'm in these periods of time, and it, my thoughts always go back to, well, I need to make content. I need to get some videos out. I really want to share this, or I want to share that. And I'll be making notes, but sometimes it's just, I'll do that, and I'll be ready, and I'll get everything ready, and I'll sit down, and then my mind will go somewhere else, or I need to go do this, or I need to go do that. Oh my gosh, I got to do this first, or I got to do that first, and it'll pull me away. But I always come right back to doing it. So, I mean, it's hard for me to give you guys a, definite of when I'll be doing what, but just know that no matter what, I'll be here doing it at some point or another. What I'm going to do in the meantime, though, is for all of you who are, who support me and want to be here for me and have been so generous and kind and all the things, I want to give you guys the ability to be able to, if you're interested. It's so hard to explain what I'm going to do or what I want to do without it sounding off the wall. I don't even know what to call it, but what I want to do is I'm going to open up Patreon again. I used to have a Patreon. We had an amazing time on Patreon. I loved Patreon. I love Patreon because you get to interact with those who support you the most, who want to be there to help you and do all the things. Your biggest supporters in one place is so fun. I love it. And so what I want to do is open that back up to anybody who's interested in becoming a Patreon, and we can talk. And when I am struggling with these things and I can't get sat down to make a video, or I can't get out of bed to make a video, I can then turn to those who are, who want to be there for me the most and support me the most, and we'll talk on Patreon. I don't have an issue doing that. When I do these YouTube videos and these TikTok videos and stuff, it's not just me sitting down and just like recording myself. I mean, for the most part, that kind of is what they are, but there's more that goes into it. And when I am unable to get myself out of the bed and get myself showered or get myself, all the things, I can't bring myself to do that and put it up on the internet for the world to see, to judge me and all the things. So I think with a Patreon, that gives me the ability to come on and share when I am struggling and talk about it, and get advice from anyone who's lived with this or gone through this, or anybody that just wants to give me good, kind words, of encouragement or whatever it might be. It gives me that ability and option for the ones that support me the most. So that's what I'm going to do with that. It'll be more than just that. It'll have a lot more going on than just, when I'm feeling like shit or whatever, I get on and whine and cry. That's not what I mean. I think it would be a good place where I will feel comfortable to come when I'm in these states, or, if I'm struggling at the moment, to come on and talk about that and share that. And also, when I am putting out my larger video, which that video is, those of you who know that what I do to get information is, make requests and things like that, the legal route of public information. And so right now I'm waiting on a couple things to come back still. I think my FOIA request dates they had till October 1st or something like that, which is crazy to me because I can't say I've ever had one take that long to come back. So hopefully they don't, but that's how long they have to return back to me. So I'm still waiting on a few of those things, but Lord help us all. This woman is a nightmare. And it just keeps going and going. So that'll be fun. But when like I go to put a video out, I may start doing where they come out early on Patreon first, or do like sneak peek inside behind the scenes footage type of stuff where you get to see the whole document or things like that. That's what I want to do with my Patreon, where my Patreons get the information prior to coming out on the other platforms, and they'll get to see the videos first, or they'll get exclusive videos and things like that. I want it to be a first stop for everything that I'm doing, because I think that Patreon gives you that ability to be closer with the people that really do support you. So yeah, that's where we're going to go with that. I'm going to be doing lives on Patreon that I think will be so fun. I have a lot of really fun ideas for Patreon lives, and all kinds of other stuff that I want to do that I might not want to put out onto YouTube or TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, all the places. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. I'm going to have it linked. I'll probably put it in my profile, or not my profile. I'll probably make a community post that's sharing the link to the Patreon, and a TikTok post where it shares the link to the Patreon. The same for all the other platforms as well, Facebook and Instagram also. I'll share it there once it's up and ready to go. And yeah, we'll chit chat more about it, but that's where I'm at this point with all of that, just because I'm still working things out and trying to get myself in order. And at this point, I just don't want to leave people hanging. And if you see that I'm making Patreon posts, but I'm not on, any of the other platforms, I mean, I'll obviously put them up on the not notifications. Oh Lord, where is my mind today? Like community tabs, stuff like that. There will be posts made when I put up a Patreon piece of content. So that way, if someone sees it and says, oh yeah, I'd like to see that, they have the option to come and sign up for Patreon and see it. So that's where we're at with that. And that'll be coming up like tomorrow, probably. You'll see the posts for the Patreon. I'm also going to be posting my story videos. Those will not be a Patreon first video. Just my big videos will be Patreon first videos. Well, I don't want to say just my big videos, but any kind of story time videos, those will go straight to the platforms. Those won't be held for Patreon first. Anything that is a edited video, full length or longer edited video, that will go to Patreon prior to the other platforms. So if that makes sense. If not, you can definitely keep an eye out for the posts that are saying like this video got put out over here on Patreon. It'll be posted XYZ date on, the other platforms. So that way, if you want to go and watch it, you have the option to do so. If not, you can always wait for it to come up on the platform of your choice. So yeah, I think that's that. Sorry, I got a phone call from my husband, who is working out of town at the moment. Oh, I know I've said it a million times. It's just been so stressful lately. Everything in life has been stressful for us. This is just another something to deal with. And I want to say also, just real quick, because I know I haven't gotten on here to say much lately, thank you again to everybody who was so supportive and who has donated to our GoFundMe. And there were a couple of Cash Apps. Unfortunately, something else I want to say real quick. If you are a supporter of mine and have wanted to send Cash Apps, I'm just warning anybody, I don't have a Cash App at the moment. Somehow, somebody, I don't know, I can't say for sure, and I don't want to put anything out there, but my Cash App got banned because of something that someone else did. Apparently, a payment to me got reported as a scam or spams or something like that. And apparently it's gotten banned. So I don't know if I'll have another one. I'm not sure. I'm fighting it right now because it wasn't me that did anything wrong. So I'm trying to get that fixed. But as of now, Cash App does not work for me. So I have been trying to make sure to keep it out of anything and remove it so that nobody else gets some weird message or whatnot. Because I've had a few people tell me that they've tried to send Cash Apps and they get a weird message saying that this person about scams or something. Yeah, so I'm working on fighting that, but that's not an option anymore. My family and I are still very much struggling. We are working to get back on our feet, and unfortunately it has been a test of many things for us. And I don't know if that contributed to some of the things that I've been dealing with because it has been so stressful, and it's a recognized trigger to me that stressful things such as this very much affect my depression and even the manic episodes that I have. So there's a very good chance that not only me talking about my, past and things like that and the difficult situations that have happened there, just my life in general at the moment could very much be contributing to that as well. So I do very much appreciate those of you who have really there's a moth flying around. There's a couple people in particular that have really, really helped me so much on the GoFundMe and were truly a blessing. And I don't know if they want or care if their names are out there, so I won't directly name anybody, but they knew who they are. And I am so very grateful to everyone, even anyone who isn't or wasn't able to donate to it. Just watching the videos and sharing them and liking them and subscribing and following and all this stuff has helped a lot as well. I thought that I was getting a YouTube check last month. Apparently I was wrong. It is at the end of this month that I will finally get a YouTube check for a little over $100. So I'm very excited that I got that coming. But yeah, it's been a lot. I've tried to get any kind of help that I can, and we've gotten a few different help options. It's just we're still in a very crummy place, and figuring out all of that, it has been a challenge in and of itself. So yeah, I am still in that position and still trying very hard to get out of that position, but it's a work in progress. I can only do as much as I can do, and I am trying with every bit of piece of my being to get myself back on our feet. And it takes time. So thank you so much again to all of you who have helped in all of the ways, not just monetarily, but by liking the videos and sharing and commenting and talking with each other back and forth in the comments. It's all been very, very helpful, and I am so appreciative. With that said, I am going to hop off of here. It is dark out now. It is beautiful here. It's a little chilly now. I got my little sweater back here I'm going to throw on in a minute. And yeah, I'm going to go pick up my son, and then I am going to come back and record my next story time video for you all, which should be an interesting one, considering that is this is where my addiction begins, and I get into all of that. So yeah, I will see you guys in that one, and I appreciate you all so very much, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye, guys.